Wait, we've got one more cake to make before we all start our diets. Hey everybody, welcome back to Gretchen's Vegan Bakery. I hope you all had a really awesome holiday. We've got one more recipe to make before we ring in the new year, and of course that's for a New Year's cake. So today I want to show you guys how to make actually a new recipe for vanilla cake. This is a recipe that I don't know why I haven't shared with you sooner. It's actually the super easy vanilla cake recipe that is in my cookbook, Modern Vegan Baking. First of all, thumbs up for everybody who got my cookbook for Christmas this year. And if not, there's still time to order. You can check the links below. But I did want to highlight today one of the most rave-reviewed recipes out of my book, and it's aptly named the Super Easy Vanilla Cake. So I am going to share with you guys today a new recipe for vanilla cake. I don't know why I didn't share it sooner. Probably because I've been having a love affair with my best vanilla cake recipe that's on my website. So you decide whichever recipe you prefer to use. I will tell you right away, this new recipe, one bowl mix, no mixers required. It is super easy. That's why I named it that. But this one is going to be a bit more dense. It's more, to me, like a pound cake, whereas my vanilla cake recipe that you're probably familiar with, super fluffy, real light. It is a creaming method recipe, so it does incorporate a lot of air into the batter, which is going to give you the difference between this more pound cake style or the fluffy vanilla. But without getting into that whole thing, let's get right into making this epic New Year's Eve cake, where I have made an eggnog custard to go in between the layers of this cake that I actually do have to confess, I woke up in the middle of the night really wondering about that custard. And so I sort of deconstructed the cake and I pulled out the custard that I had already filled in the middle of this cake and whipped up some whipped cream, folded it in because I wanted more of a Bavarian cream rather than just a regular custard to go inside this cake. So I hope that I can explain the recipes so that you guys can follow it a little bit more easily. So you do have all these different variations actually. You've got two vanilla cakes to choose from. You've got either a custard, which is the original way that I thought I was going to do this, but something woke me up in the middle of the night and said, you know what, let's rethink this idea. I wanted to go for more of a lighter, fluffier, almost mousse-like filling, which is what I ended up with here. So you guys decide which way you're going to do it. I'm going to give you recipes for all four ways. I did then finish it off with my garnish of this awesome rum brandy cake ball, which is completely optional. It's not necessary to go ahead and finish the cake the way that I did, but I really thought it was a nice touch, and man, are these delicious. Let me just stop talking about it. Let's get to making the Happy New Year 2021 eggnog cake.
Okay, so where do we start? Well, I guess at the beginning. First, let's make those vanilla cake layers. I am using a combination of vegan butter and coconut oil, so that has to get melted together first. And then I'm making up a mock vegan buttermilk by adding vinegar to the soy milk to thicken that up. And then when that vegan butter mixture is all melted, go ahead and pour the milk mixture right into that. In a large mixing bowl, combine the flour, baking soda, salt, and the sugar. Whisk it all together and then add those liquids to the dry mix. Give it a good whisk to make sure everything is smoothed out. No lumps means you are good to go. Just look at that luscious batter. Into greased and parchment-lined 7-inch cake pans it goes, and then into a preheated 350-degree Fahrenheit oven for, quite literally, 30 minutes. When they are done, you will see that they will be perfectly springy to the touch when you gently press the centers. If the indent stays pushed down, they will need a few more minutes baking. While the cakes are cooling, you will go ahead and make your buttercream icing. At the last stage of mixing, right when you're about to add the vanilla extract, you'll also add the brandy and the rum. This, along with cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves, is what makes this buttercream authentic eggnog. Set that aside, and next we're going to prepare the actual eggnog custard. With all the same base ingredients as a vanilla custard recipe, we are simply adding more brandy and rum to this. With that sugar, cornstarch, a bit of turmeric for color, vegan butter, and plant milk, we can go ahead and get the sugar and cornstarch whisked together right into a sauce pot. Add the turmeric, add the plant milk, and then get it all to the stovetop over medium to high heat, stirring constantly as it comes up to a boil. Once it boils, remove it from the heat and then add in the vegan butter, the vanilla extract, and the rum and the brandy. Whisk that all smooth, and then it is time to assemble the cake. Now, as I mentioned, I had a midnight mania moment, and I literally got out of bed, disassembled this cake, whipped up some coconut whipped cream, and folded it into the custard that I just scraped out of my cake layers. It's probably best that I didn't catch all of that on film, as there was quite a lot of anxiety around that whole mess. Okay, at any rate, we now have our cake assembled. Additionally, I have assembled this cake in a ring mold with an acetate cake strip, which is not 100% necessary. I just always like to do a soft filled cake this way. For me, it's just easier to build and it keeps it nice and sturdy. If you don't want to buy a professional cake ring like I use here, you can always just use a springform pan with the bottom removed. It's essentially the same thing, just way cheaper. Okay, now to finish this cake with that amazing eggnog spiked up buttercream. Oh wait, we have to make the eggnog cake balls for the garnish. Let me tell you something, if you are not up for this entire project to make this whole cake, just go for these eggnog cake balls. Seriously, they are life. You will be the hit of the party if you only show up with these. It is really just the cake scraps from the trimmings off of my cake layers, a tiny spot of that eggnog buttercream, and yes, of course, the rest of that brandy and the rum. Get those balls dipped in white chocolate and adorn them however you like, or just keep them purely simple. Whatever you do, I promise you, these little balls are going to make you so happy. Alright, but let's get back to this cake. We are almost there. This is my favorite part, so I'm just going to sit back and be quiet for a minute while we watch it all get iced up with that eggnog buttercream. So that's it. That's my New Year's Eve cake for 2021. Perfect pound cake layers with light and fluffy eggnog Bavarian cream custard filling. I really do hope you guys liked this video, and this recipe is one that you're going to want to try. So be sure to head over to Gretchen'sVeganBakery.com to grab all the recipes that you're going to need to pull this off. Let me know if you think you'll try it with the new recipe for vanilla cake out of my cookbook, Modern Vegan Baking, or do you just prefer the original vanilla cake that I've been sharing for years? Also, what did you think about my Midnight Mania crazy disassembling of that cake? Have you ever done something like that before? I really love reading all your comments, so be sure to let me know your thoughts on this one if you've had any crazy midnight experiences like me. Alright everyone, thank you so much for watching. As always, I appreciate you all so much for being here with me. I do want to take just a quick minute to recognize my patrons on Patreon and my pals in PayPal. Your amazing support really helps to offset the cost to make these videos, and I just wouldn't be able to share all my recipes and knowledge for free without you guys. You would really be surprised at how long it takes just to make a short 10-minute video like this one. It's literally days of recipe testing, filming, then the editing, and you'd honestly be horrified at what YouTube pays creators like me nowadays. So big sigh there, but a gigantic thank you to all of you who have been supporting. If you think you can help for as little as $5 a month, click the links below to find out how. Okay everyone, thank you so much again for watching, commenting, liking, and subscribing here to my channel. And until next time, happy vegan baking, happy New Year 2021, and bye for now.